there.
All right.
Let's see. And YouTube. And my channel. Here we are. I found us. Okay, awesome. So, oh, I love it that it has the wrong title. Hold on. Oh, YouTube. Everyone sing themselves a fun song while I do this, and we're just going to edit it because people are going to be super duper confused if I don't adjust this. Edit. Okay. Aroma Freedom Technique. Gilbert. All right. And get rid of that. Save. Now we're live, and it says that we're live doing the right subject. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to get my attention back here. So everybody, as you jump on or as you watch this back, stick into the comments for me. Have you ever heard of Aroma Freedom Technique? I need to know because I had not heard of it until fairly recently. I would say I had heard, oh, AFT, AFT, AFT. And then about a year and a half ago, I was like, okay, someone needs to tell me what this means. And once I understood what it was, I was like, oh, I need to know this. I need to understand this healing technique. It's so in line with what I do. And yet we're all so busy. So one of my favorite things about Ivy and Light, about my brand, about the whole reason I started this was to be able to not have to be an expert in everything, but find people who are experts and bring them to you guys so that you can benefit from all of your options in the natural healing realm. So today I have with me Crystal Gilbert. Hello, Crystal.
Hi. I
am so excited to interview you today about AFT, and I'm going to let you do the honors of explaining it for everyone. But just real quick, I want to introduce you. So Crystal is an AFT practitioner. She also does the raindrop technique, if you've heard of that. And basically both of these are essential oils techniques that have physical benefits and emotional benefits as well. So whether or not you're looking for one or the other, I'm a manifestation coach, and I can already see how they would be so beneficial for life coaching too. But she's going to dive more into that. But I met Crystal through a Facebook group online, which was for entrepreneurs who have businesses of purpose, I think is the best way to say that. Those of us who really, really want to make a difference in the world and want to be able to serve. And that's how we grow our business, through service rather than the other way around, right? Focusing on the business aspect, and then hopefully you get to serve people. And so once I was in this group, I said, you know, this is where I'm going to find the people to help me learn about these other healing techniques, because I know where their heart is. And so I reached out to Crystal, and we did a conversation all about AFT, all about raindrop, all about all the cool things. And yesterday I got to do a one-on-one session, and it was amazing. So I'm even more excited after that session to bring this to you guys. And what I want to talk about today is just kind of the process that led you here to what you do as a healing practitioner, what you've learned along the way, and then some things that you could share your knowledge with other people, what you've learned with others who are wanting to get into this technique. So with that said, let's just dive in. Tell me a little bit about yourself first and a little bit about AFT.
All right. Well, first, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to get to collaborate with you, and because we have similar passions and purpose in life. So this is just a wonderful experience for me to get started too. I'm actually planning on launching officially my business the beginning of the year. So basically, about me, I live in balmy, sunny Florida, and I'm happily married to my best friend, have 2 boys in the home, 4 and 12. And that's one of the biggest reasons that got me started on this journey. I realized I needed healing for myself, and my life was not looking like what I knew it should be for myself. It wasn't connecting with who I was. And there was a lot of other things going on. And it was just at a point of really desperation of not knowing how to get out of the place I was in. So a lot of prayer, some fasting, some time to just pull back and try to connect and figure out the path, and started with the essential oils. My health was very poor. So I got my first kit and just wanted to try it out. I was still very skeptical, but at that point nothing else was working. So shortly after that, I had gotten plugged into an oily education group. That's when I learned of AFT. And it couldn't have come at a better time, because I was going through so much emotional stuff. I was starting my own healing process and learning how to be boundaries for myself. And I, again, was very skeptical. So I came into this just, there's no other alternative. I've tried all the other roads, so this was the only thing left. And it brought me to where I am now.
That's very much like me, that I've tried all of the other things, right? So what is there left? Like just anyone, give me options. So for you, did healing with essential oils come like for a while before you got into AFT, or did that kind of flow very quickly?
It was together when because I didn't really have a strong support team in the beginning that I was plugged into. It was slowly coming to me. And I also didn't have time to go look at all these things. So it was just being a part of that education group, joining my local oily affiliates, and just learning a little bit about them. They pointed me in the right direction. We had someone in our group who led the AFT session for free. And at the time, if it wasn't for free, I wouldn't have been able to do it because our finances were so bad. So that's really just what came into with the emotional part of it. I didn't know that the emotional healing could come with oils before that point.
Yeah.
So that was it was huge. And I was such a skeptic going into it. So
what were a couple of things you remember thinking before you got into it?
Okay. So the oils worked so well for me for different things. The biggest was sleep and different things like that, the basic health stuff. And I just wanted to learn so much about it. So I clicked going on the AFT group. I clicked ungoing because I'm like, this is, forget it. And the tagline, however they marketed it, was like oils for freedom and stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
That sounds woo woo, or that sounds right. Fairy dust.
Okay. Don't try to sell me something. Just, I was in that place. And then it came back. It kept coming back. So I clicked going because I was like, you know what? I need to go back into, the objective scientific method. Let's explore this before you form an opinion. And I'd already told myself I wanted to learn all there was about the oils because it was already so powerful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn why it was powerful. So anything that people were offering with oils, I signed up for to learn about. And so I did it. I came in late to the meeting. I missed the first part. I missed what it was even about. They just said, grab your oils and drift back to an earlier time. And sure enough, I didn't even have all the oils in my bottle. I had an empty bottle, and it worked. It came up and it was so powerful. I remember sitting on my bed going, what just happened here?
Yeah. I love that statement that if you're going to be scientific about it, which we've talked about this, we both have that kind of scientific approach. Quantum physics is my thing. But if you want to be scientific about healing or about anything, you have to be open, right? You're not being scientific if you say, well, that I refuse to even look at that, because otherwise, how can you create a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, and come up with an answer, right?
Yep.
So yeah, being open, and then being open to saying, you know, hey, okay, so it didn't work, or it did work. So what's the next step, right? Now, what's my next hypothesis?
Yep.
So what was the biggest change you saw in your life after starting using AFT?
Wow. It's really powerful. And that right there, it was so powerful because I had been in therapy, counseling from the beginning. I'd gone through so much different things. I was brought up in a traumatic household, a lot of stuff there. And I had forms of PTSD. I was agoraphobic for a while. So this would have put me into a panic attack. I was trying so hard to get out of that and heal, and trying not to fall back into it. So counselors weren't helping, prescription medications weren't helping, nothing was. And that was the point of, there was still enough hope in me to try, especially with my family, my kids and my husband. I had finally got some of the things that, you know, was good in life, and I wasn't going to give up on it, you know. So what this did for me was give me hope. And it did more for me in one session, even coming into it, halfway into it, not understanding it, than 10 years of counseling and prescription medications.
Wow.
And that right there was huge. And it started peeling back the layers.
Yeah.
So each one that happened, I didn't have any other sessions for a while. It was 6 months later, like right before the holidays. I really needed it. And there was another free one offered. I took that up and brought my husband into it, said, you got to try this. He had just started believing in the oils and the power of them. So we did the AFT together. And it was at that point that I knew I have to learn this for myself. This is the answer to my own emotional healing. So.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, there's so many conversations that I have, especially in 2020, about anxiety and sleep. Yeah. Right. And people say, I've tried everything. And yet, if you give them something else to try, they're still resistant, right? Because it is about hope and trust. I can't give you the water. I can only offer it to you, right? And so it's the same thing for me with essential oils. Like, until you try it, you don't know. And until you try real essential oils, right?
Yes.
So we could talk about that for an hour. But until you give something a try, you can't say it didn't work. Once you give it a try, feel free to have an opinion, right? But I mean, like, think if you had kept going to therapy for 10 more years, where you would be, right?
I wouldn't be here. I mean, I would be in such a horrible state, and that's where I was, because it wasn't helping. I wouldn't have started my own business. I wouldn't be able to be the mom I want to be, or the wife I wanted to be, or the friend. And I'm finally at the point where I can start shining my light and helping to serve others. I couldn't do that before because I was in such a bad place. So
that's amazing, because now, just like I was speaking of the group that we're in, it's all people who have such a heart for service. And everyone's story seems to be, you know, based on a difficult time that we came through. And like, if I can save anyone else from that, right? Like mine was hypothyroidism, abusive marriage, like all of this stuff, right? Like, if I can save anybody from that, I 100% will. If I can save people from thinking that they're not good enough to live their dreams, they don't deserve their dreams, and I 100% will. And so, being the fact that it led to your ability to make a business, as also the passion behind it, is so beautiful for me. And I loved my session yesterday. One thing I told you at the beginning was that as a healer, there are so many things I can do for myself. Yeah. I can heal so many different things because I understand how it works. But there are certain things that each of us, even if someone is watching this and they are a healer themselves, there's stuff that we can't dig into ourselves on because we have such a block reaction, a defensive reaction within our brain, essentially. Like, no, don't go there, don't go there. And it's hard to dig within yourself. So just being able to have you guide me through it, it felt very much like the way I run a life coaching session, except the emphasis is on how you use the oils.
Right.
Right. And so, I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to do another one. And thank you for that. It was amazing. What I would love to know is, what's the most exciting change you've seen from helping others through AFT or raindrop technique or whatever since you've started this?
Okay, that's one of my favorite parts. When they come in and then when they leave, I keep telling myself and the clients at the end, I should have taken a picture of you, because the transformation is so different. They come in and they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. And even if it's through Zoom, they come in heavy and in a place of stuck or something, dragging. And their light is dulled. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their eyes, you know. And then by the end of it, they are lit up, and you can see that the weight just off of their shoulders. They see the answer, if that makes sense, like the next step or how it all links together. And I think that knowledge as well, and this is for AFT, the knowledge as well is just, it's empowering. It's very freeing. So when people start to learn, oh, there's a reason for this. I'm not just, you know, whatever, that there is hope. I think that's really the biggest thing too, is they come in desperate or in a bad place, feeling stuck, feeling like, well, maybe this just isn't for me, or, you know, whatever. And then they leave going, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, so it really is a lot of coaching, life coaching, but built around this amazing technique, and with the raindrop as well. So.
And the one thing I noticed, so to give people, if you've never done AFT or heard of AFT before, it's essentially, it's a releasing technique is what I would call a releasing, a self-knowledge, right? An uncovering of blocks, all of that stuff. But then you're breathing in the essential oils, and the essential oils are helping you to release. Essential oils at a chemical level will actually help to scrub our cells, to reset them to their initial setting, to help to remove these negative thought patterns, which are vibrational. And oh boy, I could go into that. Watch the other video from this week for more on vibrational healing. But for me, while I was doing it, it was so cool to feel as you were having me breathe in. And you know, where are you feeling this emotion in your body? And it was in my solar plexus. And as I was breathing in the oils, with every breath, I could literally feel my solar plexus relaxing.
Yeah.
Right. You just, and like, I'm not doing it. It's just happening. And that's such a powerful, like, you can't miss it. There's no way for you to go through that experience and not realize, whoa, I'm just sitting here breathing and these essential oils are doing all this work. Right. And just much less the emotional effect, the emotional release that's happening. So what I'd love to hear from you now is about the business side of it. So as you've been putting together your business and you're officially launching in January with all that businessy type stuff, but what's a lesson that you've learned as you've started giving sessions and as you're building your business for your official launch?
So it was the most unexpected thing ever for me. And that was, in order to progress in business, in order to help others heal, I had to do it to myself first. So in the beginning, I would come into it like, you know, with the stress of the day, with all these different things. I wasn't taking care of myself. Self-care was the last thing on my list to do. And I had a toddler at that time, and I always put everyone else first, which is typical of a healer as well, or people person. So when I came into it, I was forced to take care of myself. So there was a beautiful, like, divine thing going on there where my prayers did get answered, my desires did get answered in a very strange way for me, but a beautiful way. So that was the biggest shock for me, was I cannot progress until I release this stuff for myself. Everything I want for my clients, I have to do for myself and be that example. So in every aspect, I have to step up and live out what I want for everyone else that comes in my path.
Yeah, it is such a beautiful cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more personal growth you do, the more you can help other people personal growth. The more emotional healing you do, the more you can help people emotionally heal. I remember about a year into running Ivy and Light, I had discovered, not accidentally, but I had tried to figure out how I had manifested some things in my life, came up with a formula, and then I thought, okay, well, I think this works, but let me purposely do it. Once I had purposely done it, now it's like whole other level. Once you actually put it into action and see how it helps, now your passion for helping other people increases, right? Yeah. Tenfold, and your ability to help them because you have that experience. You can't say, oh, well, I heard that this would work. It's like, no, it works, and I'm living proof. And one thing I remember people noticing when I first started using essential oils and crystals and talking about it, I would remember people being like, oh, well, you used to know Erin before, but you should watch her videos because she's a totally different person. And it's the most flattering, and also kind of reminds you where you were, right? She used to be a mess and now she's doing much better, but hey, accept it, right? Because that's what we're all here for is growth. And so as people stay connected with you, the more they see you growing, the more exciting that is for them, because they know they can have it too by using these techniques. I love that. So what would you recommend, speaking of that, to somebody who was hearing all this and they're like, ooh, AFT sounds really interesting. Maybe that's a technique that I haven't tried that I would like to try. What would you recommend to them as if they wanted to put the essential oils or AFT into use in their own life?
Well, there's quite a few different options. The first thing I would say is just to grab onto a free demonstration or workshop or something like that. Start to follow the people who do it, AFT, and can connect you, which would be me. Mm-hmm. And I have some free offerings, videos that I've uploaded on my YouTube channel, and we'll get the information.
Yeah, I'm going to pop up your Facebook here, which they can go to Divine Wellness LLC. You could type that into the search bar on Facebook, right, or just facebook.com. Yeah. And I'm assuming is it Divine Wellness on YouTube too?
It's actually a little bit different. So it's just Crystal Gilbert.
On YouTube. Awesome. So whichever, I know there's, we're on Facebook and YouTube right now. So you Facebook guys go type Divine Wellness LLC in, and then you YouTube guys go type in Crystal Gilbert. I'm a huge proponent of giving in service first with that free content. Mm-hmm. Huge, because how else can you get a taste, right? To know if it's for you.
Experiencing it is the biggest thing right now, because logically, it goes so far, but when you experience it yourself, that overrides everything. And you have that knowledge yourself that yes, it does work and it is powerful. So mm-hmm. then all the other stuff, the actual why and how, can come into play later.
Yeah, you have time for that research, right?
Yeah.
Once
Mm-hmm.
you've experienced it. So, so if they're following you on Facebook as well, if you do a free demonstration, I assume you would be putting it on those channels too, right?
Yes, I'll put all the information there so everyone can get connected where they need to be.
Very cool. So guys, I've written it on the screen here, but also we will put it in the description of this video. So if you're watching it on the playback, go into the video description and just click on the links. And we'll also have one for Crystal's website that offers all of her services. So speaking of first steps, though, we are doing something together with First Steps for AFT. And this is how this whole thing got started, because all of you guys who are following me already know I have my Crystals and Essential Oils course, which is literally, tickets are selling now and we're launching on October 26th. And I'm so passionate about this topic. But one of the things that kept me from putting the course together was thinking, oh, there's these like really cool essential oil techniques like raindrop and AFT, and I haven't taken time to do it, and I feel like they should go in the course. And I finally just released and said, you know what, Erin, it's okay if you don't. Like, why are you holding other people from learning this? Because you don't have time to become an expert in that. Mm-hmm. There are people who are experts, and they are lovely, and you will find them. And so that is, I just said, okay, the person will come. And you came. And thank you for that. So Crystal is going to be teaching us about AFT in the Crystals and Oils course. And then I'm going to come and show you which crystals you can pair with it for even boosted effects, which I'm excited to do some meditating this weekend. We're going off grid so I can meditate and really make sure that I have the best crystal oil combinations as we head into this, which is part of why I wanted to have the experience with you of the one-on-one so that I make sure it's the best offering possible. But I want you to give them a little sneak peek because you already know a little bit about what you're planning to share. So what can they expect in the course for your part about the AFT?
Yeah, well, I'm again honored to be a part of that as well because crystals is something I want to learn about. So I love that, symbiotic relationship there. So what I'm going to do is just give a whole layout, an introduction to AFT, what it is and why it works, why it's so powerful. And there is so much science that goes into it. It's not the woo-woo stuff. There is so much good stuff in there. And if we just learn how to tap into it, which is what this does, we can be empowered. So that's the biggest thing. I'm going to give actual practical steps on the different techniques I use every day very quickly in my very busy life as a homeschool mom and entrepreneur. Yeah. So it's going to be very simple, easy to digest, not overwhelming, just the very basic beginner steps, but also to get you experiencing it as quickly as possible too. It's not a big thing. You don't have to go get certified for it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to bring to the table.
I'm so excited for it. You already told me, like, you're like, okay, so you've done this AFT, but there's this and this and this, and I'm already like a kid in a candy store. Like, I can't wait to hear more about it. But also, I love the idea of quick tips because, I don't know anyone who's not busy, right? So if anything that you can add into your life, like for me, it's, speaking of crystals and AFT, so you gave me, we worked through the whole thing and then I came up with an affirmation right at the end. So my affirmation had to do with inspiring my tribe and receiving abundance for myself. So this morning, like the easiest thing in the world, put on my crystal jewelry. I always think about how I want to feel. So I've got my pyrite for abundance and my lapis lazuli for inspiration. Right? That takes 30 seconds. Yeah. And so I love that kind of thing. Like there's no need to make this a burden, right? It is enhancing your day. So I can't wait to see what all of those tips are. Super excited about it. I put on the screen here for you guys, if you go to ivyandlight.com/store/courses, or just head to the website, it's pretty easy to find how to sign up for the course. I'm going to tell you now, if you sign up by Saturday, you can use the code CO Early Bird and get $50 off. So do that now. So why not save $50, right? Sign up for the course and you will get access to all 7 modules plus this AFT training. And that's a lifetime access to all of that. It's going to be a lot to absorb all at once. It's a 7-day intensive, but you can take it at your own pace and learn as you go. And then go back to it and go back to it and go back to it, which is super, super cool. What I also want to tell you guys, though, let's say you're not sure if you're ready for the course, or you're ready for the course, but you can't wait. You need to know about this now. We'll have the links for all the ways to get in touch with Crystal, her Facebook, her YouTube, her website. But give me a sneak, if they wanted to do what I did, which is do a one-on-one session with you. Where would they go to do that? How could they make that happen? Because that is, I think, the most magical, is to have you guiding them through that process, because it's very much like a life coach, or resistant to the word therapy, but it's somebody who's holding your hand through it and helping you to take the next step, right?
Yeah, really just a guide or facilitator.
That, yes, perfect. So how would you have that on your website at this point?
Yes, and that just goes back to emailing me for a free consultation to see if that actually is the best fit, because, you know, everyone's different, and I can kind of gauge really quickly what is going to be the best alternative so people get the best bang for their time, for their investment. And crystalgilbert.riseabove@gmail.com. That's it. Shoot me an email and we'll connect.
Awesome. I'm so excited for everyone to watch this back. Here, I feel like we've given like the world's best teaser on AFT because you almost can't understand it until you do it. And so guys, it's not our fault that all we can say is how magical it is, because it just is that magical. But yeah, I'm just excited for people to try it, to learn from you about this. And then those of all of my community who are big oils people and have been like waiting for me to tell them the next step. This is the next step. And all of my crystal people who have been kind of maybe more resistant to essential oils. I want you guys to give this a try. And then I challenge you to tell me it didn't work. So, I loved it, and I've done everything. I feel like I've done all of these different healing methods. And so if there's something that you can get out of me in a healing session, like it must be working, right? Like I've done all this stuff and I'm down to the deep, to digging through the deep stuff. And we got there immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge believer in it. Are there any other thoughts that you wanted to share? Things that I forgot to ask you, or that you think are really important for people to know about this healing technique?
I think the biggest thing is just that there is hope, and going into it with an open mind and saying, yeah, if other things haven't worked, then let's just try this, you know, and that was the most powerful thing I could have done for myself. One of the best things was just try it. It doesn't hurt to try. And then what has come from it has been life-changing for me and my family and everyone connected to me. And now all the people I'm able to help, because I took that step to help myself first. So right there, that's the best thing I can put out there.
Yeah, and that once you take that step, it keeps giving.
Yes.
Right? It's not like I don't even know what to compare it to, but all of these healing methods, there's always layers. There's always more healing and growing to do. And it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely.
100%. Well, thank you so much for joining me today for this. I was delighted all week, excited all week to do this, because it's been so long, I feel like, since I got to talk about something that I've really been wanting to learn about. I'm so busy. I never get to learn new things anymore. And so I was delighted to do the session, and I cannot wait for the part of the course where you teach us how to do AFT and deep dive into all the stuff that we couldn't really get into today. So thank you again for being there, for answering the call to help me out with this course. And I'm just excited for everyone. I'm excited for everyone to get on board with this.
Yes, thank you so much. This has been wonderful, and such an amazing opportunity for me. It's that manifestation of all the inner work that I've been doing, so I can be that example for others too. It's huge. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, go check out all of Crystal's links. I'm going to go type those into the description really quickly here in a second. So hang tight and you'll be able to reach all of her information, all the places to stay connected with her. And until next time, love and blessings. And guys, have a fantastic new moon. Talk to you later.
Bye.